But you have one big one that you were itching to bring up about your alma mater.
Exactly. What was that, alma mater?
I don't know. How do you say alma mater?
Yeah, something like that. The CRC, the UMass Cannabis Reform Coalition, was an organization that I started in as a freshman at UMass and got me into politics and got me into activism and fighting on the right side of the drug war. And we've been an organization, and I still say we because even though I've moved on and moved away, I still consider it, my part of me. We have been a student organization for over 23 years, like almost as long as I've been alive. Almost for all of that time, we've had at least for the past over a decade, we've had a very prominent location in the student union where we were able to recruit new members, do voter registration drives, and it was iconic. It's
like a campaign center,
right? Exactly.
It's like a place where everyone meets up.
Exactly. We had our computer, we had our couches, we had music always going. The door was always open. Everybody was welcome in, and that was a huge part of how we recruited members into our organization, how we created and cultivated community within our organization. And just this year, there's been this whole saga going on at UMass where one person from the student government decided to eliminate the previous process of seniority amongst RSOs, registered student organizations, whereas the RSOs that had been around for the longest amount of time got to retain their spaces. And as the oldest student drug law reform organization in the country, the UMass CRC certainly earned that spot. And this year, one guy, the secretary of, I forget his actual title, secretary of something, secretary of bullshit, this guy at UMass decided that he was going to eliminate that system of seniority and force each organization to reapply for their spaces. And the CRC did not get allocated the space that it had had for at least 11 years.
Which honestly seems fine to me.
That they got taken out of their spot?
Yeah, because you know what? Like, maybe he's right. Maybe seniority shouldn't be the way to do it. But, okay, but that's not the real...
In terms of, I mean...
But that's not the real issue. The real issue comes later, so keep going.
Well, exactly. So then after that, we got reallocated to a different room, less visible, smaller, sharing with another space. I mean, the other thing is we have so many archival, history basically that has been collected in that office for a long time.
Well, that's something I will get into more in terms of how did they decide it? Because that's to me, if you're going to replace,
it was literally one person.
Yeah, if you're going to replace one system of selecting and change it to something else, is it random?
Be transparent about
was it?
Yeah.
Like how was it decided? We will definitely get to that.
Well, I'm very.
But what happened? Let's preview this. We'll get more into it later. Okay. But what really happened that we're mad about?
So what happened is they moved us into a different space, and in that different space, while it was being prepared at the beginning of school, repainted and such. Apparently, somebody who the CRC maintains was never affiliated with the Cannabis Reform Coalition broke into the building or into the new office space and drew a weed leaf on the wall, and that weed leaf was enough for the administration of UMass to threaten to freeze the CRC's RSO status, which means not accessing their finances, not being able to put on events, aka extravaganza, all the other events that we put on. And then turned into like a quote negotiation or something where they ended up saying, okay, well, you won't have an office for this year.
Oh, Jesus.
So that was the final.
So one person can. So let's put it this way. Like, what other groups are on campus?
I mean, the organizations like, Campus Design and Copy, the UMass Outing Club, the Bike Co-op.
All right. So if someone paints a bike on a wall at UMass, we're going to kill the bike group too?
Supposedly.
I think that everyone should start doing this as a form of protest and activism because, this is ridiculous.
It's a great idea.
One person decides one person's actions is going to cancel, and it's a non-violent action. It's a silly action. It happens all the time.
Which is so funny because...
every bathroom I ever went to at Bridgewater State had graffiti on it.
Right. But it's because it's such a politically valuable group and viable group. And we do more voter registration. I remember when I was doing it in 2008, we did more voter registration than any of the other student groups combined.
And you're saying the reasons why that they should have gotten a better space, number one. If you're going to replace one system with another, do it fairly and decide which groups deserve it the most and value it the most and are doing the most work. Come on. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll talk to someone about that from UMass today about that, because we want to get more into this. This is... it's just not
and it's so funny because we used to actually have a really prominent on the door to the office was a giant weed leaf. And it said UMass Cannabis Reform Coalition, the weed leaf. And after, I remember one summer we came back to campus and we saw that they had painted over the weed leaf. Yep. And we were like, and they had gone through our entire office and like kind of ransacked it and like thrown stuff everywhere. And their explanation, this was like 2 or 3 years ago, was, oh, we were cleaning it. And they just like took our,
sure, dudes.
Exactly. So it's all very suspicious.
And they've never liked you guys. And you guys have always been a dissenting voice to the administration. Their actions on drug policy, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's
very convenient.
We have this complicated relationship with UMass and with the town because we throw the largest event of any RSO, of pretty much of any group in Amherst. When we do Extravaganza, that brings at least 10,000 people into Amherst to, and that's like, for those of you who don't know, that's like Amherst's version of the Freedom Rally every April. And we bring 10,000 people into that town, and so we're a huge boon to their economy. So they have this like complicated relationship with us where they have to like tolerate us because of that. The town really loves Extravaganza because of the money it brings in.
That's awesome.
But at the same time, they don't like our politics and they don't like the fact that we get in their face. So.
And then you dissent to the president. I remember when you were there and the president was trying to crack down because for years UMass has been called ZooMass. We all know it. It's a party school. That's what people call it. And because of that,
not anymore.
some of these guys wanted to totally crack down and be. And you guys, your group, and especially you were one of the main people that speak out against that and fight back and be the dissenting voice and say, what you're doing to the students isn't right because you're embarrassed because we're called ZooMass. I mean, that's just not...
Yeah. So like putting cops in the dorms, randomly patrolling,
posing as pizza delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Dressed as pizza delivery guys,
and bust you for bongs and
unbelievable
and beer and whatever else is in there.
We were occupying buildings far before Occupy. That was what inspired us to and kind of that was our tactic back then, was getting a lot of media attention. So now I'm reaching out to the new CRC and I'm trying to see how far can we take this. Good. Can we be a little aggressive?
Let's hopefully hear from some people from UMass today. And
we're back on Unregular Radio. This is Two Hotheads, where activism happens, and we are live with my dear friend Ben Stein on stop number. What number are you at now, Ben?
How you doing, H-Mac? I am 25 years old.
No.
Yeah,
what stop are you at?
Maybe 10 even.
8 or 9.
Or 10.
Why are you in Southie?
Okay,
I
think you're at like 8.
He's at 10 stops at drinking?
Stop number 8 or 9.
I mean, if you have a key map handy, you can just count from Ashmont to Whitey's. Ashmont to, we're at Broadway right now.
Yep. So it's the Red Line Bar Crawl, and
John Warner's joining us.
Oh, that's great to know. We're actually calling to stay on topic with the CRC and the office being taken away at UMass, and we need you to weigh in all of your wisdom on what do you think about UMass taking away the CRC's office for the year?
I'm really glad that you're talking to me about this right now because my position about the CRC has always been that the office has been kind of the most important aspect of the club itself. Only because it serves as a rallying point for all kinds of people on campus. It always has been a very visible symbol of the CRC. Myself, when I was first joining the CRC, I was a freshman on campus. I was walking around the student union, and I saw the room. I saw the pot leaf on the door.
Yep.
And I was currently being prosecuted for possession of marijuana in Virginia, where I'm from. And this seemed like I was very kind of I was angry about this whole situation, and it radicalized me in a way. So I used this opportunity. I saw the CRC office. I walked inside, and there were, some friendly people there to talk to, and I got involved, and it turned out to be one of the most formative experiences in my UMass career.
Awesome.
And look
without the CRC office, there really is no CRC.
And look, where would we be now without the CRC office? I
don't know where I'd be. The people that I'm hanging out with on this Red Line bar crawl that we talked about, I mean, these are all people that I met in the CRC. Every single one,
right?
At this point, there's 20 of them. There's like, I'm standing outside the bar, I'm looking inside, there's like 20 people. And they're all people that I met at UMass through the CRC.
And that's a Cannabis Reform Coalition, so everyone else knows.
Exactly, the Cannabis Reform Coalition, UMass.
Is John there? John or Corey, former presidents of the CRC?
Well, John Warner and Corey are both inside. John, I saw him walk inside as I was waiting for you guys to put me on the air.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah. If I don't know if we have time even, but it would be cool to. We have 3 generations of CRC presidents, and like at least
it's true. They're all inside. They're
hanging out
today.
In one place.
If they were to bomb this building, they would They would destroy a CRC legacy.
Oh man, and so that's why we're fighting on behalf of the CRC, even though we're not there anymore. We don't go to UMass.
I'm glad that this is the discussion for today on THC.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah. Well, 2 hotheads where activism happens. I don't know what our new acronym is for that. It's like 2 hotheads.
2 hotheads.
Yeah, exactly. 2
we
hotheads.
just did 2 hotheads. This guy called in today.
All you hotheads out there.
Yeah, this guy called in today and called us the 2 Guy Show.
The 2 Guys Show.
And it's like it's the 2 hotheads. Get it right, dude.
The 2 guys and that crazy lady.
Yeah. No, the one. Yeah. That's funny.
We had a Juggalo call in a little while ago and talking about how he was been targeted by the police. We're now, I think, Juggalo sympathizers on the show.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not ashamed to say it.
Yep.
I might be a little ashamed. No, we're no.
Who else are you guys talking to about the CRC office?
Nobody. You're the first.
You're the first one. You're weighing in on it, and I tried to get in touch with
all right, let me just say that it's a very important institution on the UMass campus. It's really symbolic. It's been around like since the 80s. It would be a huge. It's like it really bummed me out when I found out that they were taking away the office in general, and like they had to redistribute the CRC to some other office in the student union period. And then to find out that they were losing the office period.
And
it's
a piece of history.
There's all kinds of archives and annals and just like all kinds of stuff that has been circulating since the 80s. It's a tradition. It's really sad that it's all getting lost.
We're not going to let it get lost, and that's why you can email the Daily Collegian. You can go to the editorial at dailycollegian.com.
You can, right? We can email?
Yeah, we can email. They were the ones who put the story on the front page of the UMass newspaper.
Oh, it's on the front page now.
Yeah, it was a huge story. So, you can call, write in. You can call the RSO office. We want people to get involved with it. Thank you so much. We need to find that
story and link it up. Thank you,
Ben Stein.
Ben.
I'll be meeting up with you. I'm assuming at this point probably at South Station. It looks like, right?
Well, South Station's our next stop. I mean, I don't know what time you're getting out of the show.
Yeah, in about South Station time. So I'll see you there, and we'll continue our bar crawl into the sunset.
We're pretty inebriated, so we will we'll welcome your presence.
All right, hell yeah. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, guys. I will talk to you later.
All right, bye.
You have the best drunk callers who can talk politics.
I know, he's so good.
Contribute. He was awesome.
So good, right?
You could tell he was lit. But he's still 100% able to keep up with the show and contribute. And
well, he's a CRC member for life,
Spoke well. I like him. He was really good.
Yeah, dude. I don't know that I can't think of anything that's more close to my heart in terms of stuff that I've done, activism that I've been a part of. The CRC was my home for 4 years, and
Cannabis Reform.
I had the pleasure of being the president. I grew up with the CRC, and throughout college, I occupied buildings. We went on strike. We had huge rallies. We had giant events and festivals, and we had that office, and the office was our sanctuary. And we all came, in between classes, and we would talk politics, and we would create come up with awesome ideas and create, flyers and do outreach and register voters. And we would just holler like out in the hallway and be like, hey, are you registered to vote? Hey, come on over. And
it's so important to have a place like that on campus because there's always the institutional voice. And there's never a dissenting voice of the students, truly of the students. Here you have a group that is the dissenting voice. It's also what you had said last week, I believe, or I'm trying to remember, maybe at the Freedom Rally even. Recently you said marijuana reform is like the turning point. It's like the way that people get involved politically at an earlier age. I think I meant to add that onto it. But that is the key. Like, I think a lot of people that are involved in cannabis reform later on in life, maybe in their 40s or 50s, they finally do get activated politically. But it's almost too late. And their activism is often related just to their own individual concerns locally and voting. And that's about it. You know, I think that with cannabis reform and some of these other issues,
intersections of other issues that go along with drug reform too.
Yes.
It's not just about civil liberties. It's about race. It's about class. It's about, the police system and
you're
police
able to see through the bullshit and realize that something like the juggalos affects all people, not just the juggalos. It affects everybody.
And all gang prosecution and gang profiling and all of that stuff. Not just for the juggalos. And I want to make sure that we're recognizing that stuff has been an issue for a lot longer than the juggalo issue has been around.
And I want to talk about this activism thing.
Profiling.
Because the pool of activism to get people involved, one of the most important ages to have people involved is in their 20s. When they're first questioning things, when they're first able to have a lot of free time, to be able to contribute and are interested in contributing, their spirit hasn't been broken yet. Oftentimes, by the time you're 35, 40, 50, your spirit has been broken. You've accepted the system sucks. You've lived too long not giving a shit, not trying against it. And we really need young people. We need a spot. I mean, UMass is supposed to be the people's state institution.
Yep.
And you're shutting out drug reform. You're not allowing an office
been there for
because
22 years.
one person wrote something that might be questionable, but it might not really be. Because why can't that symbol be posted at UMass Amherst? I think that on a constitutional level, it's bullshit that you actually penalize anyone for posting a marijuana leaf on the state institution, because it needs to be posted somewhere.
Yeah, and why should it be censored?
Especially around this club.
Yeah,
this club is vital. This should be respected.
Used to have, when I was there for most of the time that I was at UMass, had a giant pot leaf painting on the door.
It should be respected. This is the student's voice.
And we were respected. I feel like and that was a huge thing for me personally, was I was involved with the SGA, the student government. I had all sorts of friends in the student government. I was working on the strike committee and stuff. So we weren't just talking about cops in the dorms. We were talking about diversity and access to, to resources on campus. We were talking about fees, and we were the largest activist group on campus. We registered the most voters. We got the most people, in terms of going out and participating and flyering and organizing for like the strike.
There should be a respect for that, and there should be a time and place for things. A time and place for things. It's one thing if some official representative of this organization, the Cannabis Reform Coalition at UMass, publicly went and did something like vandalized or desecrated the library or something to make a statement. That would be one thing. But this is a random act of someone posting a marijuana leaf in the Cannabis Reform Coalition area, their office,
which we used to have everywhere. I mean,
that's okay. That should be okay. That exception should just be allowed. There are certain things that you should just. This is the students.
Yeah.
You can. The tuition that they're paying, this is the public state institution. We should allow it.
Well, they're afraid of it. They're afraid of having parents come. And now UMass is going through this whole transformation of trying to attract more out-of-state students and honor students. They're building millions. They built I think a $40 million police station on campus now. I mean, that's where their priorities lie, where, certain classrooms are crumbling straight up and have asbestos in them and shit. And then they're meanwhile putting all their money into busing kids out to see UMass football at Gillette Stadium. And they're building new police stations and new dorms for only honor students to keep the resources going to the top, to the 1% of the students in terms of UMass resources. It's just a crazy thing. They're going through this whole, all they care about is money. And they're not getting funding from the state, really, so they have to get money from
themselves.
They're
going to make it just like BU did and these other institutions.
It's pretty shitty. But we're going to do what we can. Like I said, editorial at dailycollegian.com.
Oh, I'm going to
call the RSO office.
Yeah.
We're gonna post some more. ways to do this.
You
I
can
mean,
see how fired
I've
up
reached
we got.
out.
We got to wrap this up though.
Yeah.
We'll continue to cover this. You know us. This is Heather's place. We got a long history. I went to State's College. I graduated from Bridgewater State College. I feel the same way. There was never anything like that at Bridgewater State. There was no voice. I had instances where the same things were happening to me. I had no one to go to, no org. I didn't get involved that early. I wish I had. I wish I had that place. So we need to keep this going. 617-606-4122. We got to take another break, and we got to try to get our last call on the line, hopefully.
Yep.
Hopefully
got
we'll
this.
talk
Two
to
hotheads.
Casey.
We got this.